there's actually an amazing thing happening in this painting. Simultaneous contrast thing I've been talking about.
What is simultaneous contrast?
I will explain in a moment. So if you have a gradation of black to white, there's a certain like vibration that happens if you do a certain thing. So if you pick 50% gray, it's roughly about here, you put a dot there, that's 50% gray. If you take that value and you move it to the right, it looks very, very dark against the white. That same 50% gray over here looks very, very bright. If you take that and you make a line, you stretch it all the way across, and then it's technically darker than the background, but now it's technically brighter than the background at the same time. Simultaneous contrast. So what you're seeing here is a sort of confusion of the brain can't really tell what it is. And this is technically darker to us, but this is technically brighter, even though it's the same value. And so there's a sort of vibration happening here because our brain is trying to like, understand that. What you can do as an artist is take that concept to like, make things pop out or even emphasize that gradation. Because I'm looking at this, it looks like there's a gradient of like a bright gray going to a darker gray over here. But you can emphasize that if we make a new layer and we make this side darker, literally. So now we can actually prove that it's darker. And then this side brighter, that vibration is even stronger. It pops out even harder. So over here, he's doing it very subtly, but it's there. So if you look at, it's darker here and then brighter there. And basically, I forgot to mention, what's happening is that there's let me just emphasize it more. If we isolate these values, it's like dark, light, or dark, light, dark, light. And it's just an alternation. And so over here, it's dark, light, and then a very subtle dark, and then light here. And then it kind of just does that throughout the piece. And so it goes dark, carefully fading this way, and then the light. I think that's why I was so drawn to that piece. There's just a really nice contrast of that popping out right there. Because like it vibrates like right here. And I just couldn't understand why for the longest time. Yeah, you seem to be doing it pretty well. I think, so there's a certain threshold where the gradient should change. And if we look at it as a checkerboard and say, okay, this area should be dark, then light, then dark, then light. If this threshold line is too low or something, or too high, it won't work the same. So you have to make sure that it's crossing over at the right spot. And I think it should be just dark right here, all the way up to that tip, and then fade up or in. And you could just already notice that kind of popping thing happening.
So is the vibrancy or vibration what you're talking about in the hue cubes?
There is vibration with hue there, with color, but not for the same reasons. If you have blue and then orange on it, there is a vibration between them. You could even have magenta and what was it, like a yellow or something. And there's like something happening where the brain can't really settle on one or the other, but that's to do with hue rather than value. I digress. Having said that, these are great studies. Let's actually look at the other ones real quick. The tricky thing about this style, I really like it, but it's like you have to sort of analyze and ask yourself, where are all the sharp edges? And there's various sharp edges in here, but the important ones are the face. Okay, there's like a couple sharp edges here, maybe here, a little bit in this area. Everything else is super blurred out. So as I go over here, and your take on it, there's a lot of sharpness. Yeah, even this should be blurred, so on and so forth. So I'd say be very careful if you're trying to be accurate with that style, and only allow those certain areas to be sharp. So I'm just going to blur it all real quick. And just by blurring that, it already feels closer to the image. And then I would go back and ping pong my eyes back and forth to kind of find that sharpness again in those areas. But yeah, that's a tricky piece. So the one thing that comes to mind is just brush economy. And the same thing I'll share about this kind of applies to all of them. So it's kind of just in terms of how we perceive, I guess, detail and information, and it's more of a compositional thing, but where we want to look are like these main focal point areas and this really cool shadow happening onto the face. That's nice. And then, you know, here, there, maybe a little bit right there. But the thing is that there's all these brush strokes that seem to be taking away from that, right? Like we still look in those spots, but it could be emphasized. Like this stuff, let's just grab this brush. If we just toned all this stuff down and have less contrast in these areas, especially if it's too dark in these little cracks. And I know the reference could have just been that way, but like basically what I'm doing is like any area that's not the focal point, I just want to soften up and have less contrast happening in terms of visual activity. So it's kind of just do this, especially right there, right? And notice the difference when I turn it off. If I do that, it's like it now the attention is scattered, but now it's focused in these areas, right? So regarding brushwork, I would say pay more attention to where like elements of contrast are happening, and then control where they go, and that's going to be these areas. So if I look over here, it's happening again where, and it could just be a style, like, you know, pop art does this all the time. Stuff like this is really sharp and distracting. And for the more painterly look, you kind of want to control even where that's happening over here. And, you know, the simple trick would be to just duplicate, put a blur on it. And then you'd say like, no, you know, we just want to look at this spot right there. Maybe a little bit there. And that doesn't mean you should always blur it, but this is just the feeling of where the composition could flow rather than being, you know, sharp everywhere, right? So there's that. And then there's this where it's just busy everywhere.